you can't live your life without structure and expect any results. I'm a recent first-class graduate of law from the University of Ibadan, close to the actual CGPA, actually very close.
Do you feel like first class is meant for a kind of people?
It's meant for everybody. What makes an A student is because an A student puts in the work to become an A student.
Yeah.
Now, I have a friend, we were very close. He finished with the first class and all of that. He was very, very smart. And then, people were just bouncing in that he had one of the poorest WAEC results when he finished from secondary school. I said it's not possible. I said it's very possible. I said it's not possible that this boy that is stopping international and national competitions. How will you tell me finish with a very bad grade in WAEC? When I saw that result, come and see F9. I saw F9 from subject 1 to I think this highest grade aside from that F9 was D7. The first class is possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing where every student, particularly because we are doing this more for students. I think one thing that they need first of all is to tell themselves that it is possible.
It's possible.
People that read around me during the exam period knows that if I tell you wake me up 2 hours from now, I don't want to hear I forget. You must wake me up. Right?
Yeah.
If I tell you wake me up 2 hours from now, I need you to wake me up. And sometimes I tell you that, please, I tell people that read around me that please, I want to sleep. Nobody in this place should wake me up.
Yeah.
Nobody. Because I really want to sleep, right? So I slept that day and then she woke me up. If I miss time to read and I got some details. No, sorry, I'm not talking about 400 level. I'm talking about 500 level.
You're about to listen to a conversation that could completely change the way you think about academic success. What does it really take to graduate with a first-class degree? Is it natural intelligence, or are there proven habits that anyone can develop? In this episode, we sit down with a first-class law graduate who shares the practical strategies, mindset, and lessons that helped her achieve academic excellence. Whether you're in secondary school or the university, this conversation is packed with insights that can help you reach your full potential. Let's get started.
Hi, Femi.
Hi, Mr. Daniel.
Thank you for coming. One of the reasons why I just want to start this conversation was to inspire people, especially because I noticed that quite a lot of people think that success in a thing can be heavy, or sometimes it's not something that they can go through. And I have been there before, right, where I think about so many things I want to do, and by the time I get into it, I found out that oh my God, the narrative is quite different from my experience now, right, from the past. So, kindly give us a brief introduction about yourself.
Okay.
Very brief. Yeah.
So my name is Oluwanifemi Anna Akomalafe. I'm a recent first-class graduate of law from the University of Ibadan.
Yeah.
I'm a media enthusiast. I love media communications, publicity. I'm also a climate change advocate, where I contribute through strategic communications, partnership, and I give fundraising support in creating economic opportunity for underserved communities. And I'm also very much interested in leadership and mentorship.
Amazing.
Basically.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. I feel like you have said quite a lot right now, even though the reason why I called you here, like to be interviewed, you are diving into so many things that I feel like I'm very interested
That was
in.
just an introduction of who I am.
Right,
As at now.
That's absolutely fine. Okay. So basically, I got to know that you graduated with the first class in studying law.
A very strong first class.
Very strong first class.
Yes,
so
if there's anything like that.
Okay, all right. So basically, it was something that I was really that I feel inspired about, because when I went to school, I didn't have the opportunity to, because I felt like education for me was just something to grind through. But I feel like it was quite difficult. But when I heard somebody who studied law and now coming out as a first class, I'm like, okay, amazing. This is something to really talk about.
Yeah,
so first, let's quickly run through your journey of studying law, right?
Okay.
So what inspired you to study law? Is it something that you just wanted to do, or what was your basic inspiration to do that?
At the beginning of my idea of studying law, there was no inspiration actually. So what happened was, when secondary school, like everybody would say at that time, you are either a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer.
Yeah.
And there was something about me growing up. I talk a lot. And many people believe that I'm a very assertive, confident, and a bold person, right?
Yeah.
So people just start putting it into my head, study law. And then I think it was when I got to SS3 that I had the idea of, if you study law, you can do a lot of other things, right? It's an umbrella course. Under law, there is a lot of other things you can delve into.
Wow.
But if you pick a specific course,
Yeah.
there is every possibility that you might be limited, except if you go through other trainings for yourself.
Yeah.
So that was just it. I just wanted to do law because there was apparently, to me at that time, there was no other course I could literally do, because I was an art student. And another thing that helped me was I knew that I would study law because I knew that science class was not my thing. I will never, from GS3, I already know that I will never step my foot in science classes. I don't want to be there. I just know it's going to be hard, and I'll study law, and then from that law, if I want to act, I can act. If I want to be a writer, I can write. If I want to do other things, I can do other things. So that was just basically, there was no specific, I want to contribute to justice or everything. No, it wasn't there.
Yeah, so okay, basically, let's quickly dive into something. Like, I feel like you mentioned it when you were talking about the fact that you studied law not because you basically had an inspiration. It was that there are many things you can do right around when you study law. So could you quickly mention a few of them? Even though I know that we're talking about your journey through becoming a first class student, can you quickly talk about some of them?
Okay, so when I was growing up, I had a law student that lived close by.
Yeah.
And there was a way it talks about law so much. And also, I have also read, I used to be I love reading growing up. So I've read a lot, I just read novels and all of that. So I believe that if you study law, you can, law is the one course where you have to study law to practice law. Right? You have to, just like medicine, you have to go to medical school to be a doctor. Same as law, you have to study law. Go to the Nigerian law school, graduate, and be a lawyer. But for other professions, aside from maybe engineering, I'm narrowing now to the arts department now. So apart from law, if I want to act, I don't need to go to school to learn how to act. It can be a first of an innate talent, and from there I can build up on it without having to specifically go to school software for it. If I want to be a writer, all I have to do is write on my skills of writing. Right? I think the only thing that might be difficult is maybe lecturing, because there have to be specific discipline I have to lecture on. So I kind of feel like another time our understanding of what the art department is very limited. Now we have different languages, German studies, French studies, we have history, we have communication and language arts and all of that. Those days we really don't have them. Right? Those days just you either do theater arts, English education, or that and that and that. So I just kind of feel like, let me go to law. And if at the end of the day, I don't want to practice law, I know that I have that degree. I am a lawyer. I can do every other thing I want to do. But it's important that I got that degree first. Before every other, maybe passion, talent, or any other thing comes to play in between.
Amazing. All right. So I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Now, this is a conversation, right? And maybe I may also want to talk about one or two things, but basically, do you think becoming a first class student, I mean, when you say is strong, let me use your word, very strong,
even close to the actual CGPA, actually very close.
All right, so a very strong first class student, do you think it's hard, right? When I mean hard, is it a difficult thing to be? Because I strongly believe that, just my perspective about education, I have a bias towards people who study medicine. I didn't study medicine. So, but when I study people who studied medicine, even if you go to polytechnics, if you go to maybe School of Nursing, or you go to other tertiary institutions, you will notice that I've noticed that people who study medicine, science laboratory, maybe MLT, MLS, or something like that, anything that has to do with medicine, medical lab, all those stuff, and people who study lawyer, maybe engineering also, because I did building technology.
Okay.
So there were some kind of crazy courses actually.
They were.
Yeah,
They
there
were.
were some very crazy
Oh my
courses.
God, I have story for days.
So, but basically, my point now is that I looked at these people, especially people who study medicine, law, and maybe engineering. Most importantly, I found out that they get to study more
Yeah.
than probably many other students.
Yeah.
So I now comparing their life and maybe this kind of people life. Do you think becoming a first class student is a very hard thing?
I won't say that it is hard, but I would say that it demands hard work.
Or let's put it this way. First, let's address the issue of, is it possible?
Yeah.
Then let's now talk about, is it a hard thing to do? Yeah.
First class is very possible. It's just a matter of, I want to learn how to drive, I'm going to drive. I want to learn how to cook, I'm going to cook. I'm going to learn how to do whatever, and I'm going to do it. So first class is possible.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that that's one thing where every student particularly, because we are doing this more for students who are entering the university and all of that. I think one thing that they need first of all is to tell themselves that it is possible.
It is possible.
It is not difficult. Like, there is no impossibility to having a first class. It is possible. If you address the possibility of it, then every other thing comes to play, right?
Yeah.
Because for me, it wasn't a matter of first class is not. To be honest, when I entered uni, I didn't have intention of finishing with a first class. My intention was, I've been an A student. Thanks be to God, from primary school, secondary school. So what I wanted to do was just continue in that line, right? So when I finished my when I finished my 100 level and I saw my result, it was one of the top among the class. And I still did not see it as first class. It was just there. It was when I got to 200 level that I started interacting with some of my OG seniors that I knew that first class was a thing, and then that just. So it's now moved from a place of, I want to be an academic excellent student. It moved to, I want to be a first class student. So so it wasn't now. So I didn't do anything different from when that reality of finishing with a first class and reality of I was just an 100 level student entering uni. It didn't change. It didn't change. So one thing is, first class is possible. It is not impossible. It is just the way you determine in your mind, I want to learn graphic design, I want to learn video editing, and then after a while you put yourself into it, you commit yourself into it, and after like 2-3 years you realize that you have become a pro in video editing. That is just the way first class is. So I think that people need to change their mindset and orientation that it's somewhat impossible. So you will gather students together and in 100 level, and when you tell them finish with the first class, they'll start telling you, hey, how is that possible? Right? That's because they see it as
that's the thing I'm trying to let us address.
They see it as, hey, first class, how is that possible? That's because they feel like it is something that is out of the blues, it's impossible. It's normal.
Because they feel like first class is meant for a kind of people.
It's meant for everybody. There's no a kind of person. There's no what makes an A student an A student is because an A student puts in the work to become an A student. Now I have a friend, and I have a friend when we were very close. He finished with the first class and all of that. He was very, very smart. And there was a time we were just randomly joking some period to exams. We read a lot, and so we were tired at the end. We just randomly just gisting, having fun, and just talking randomly. And then people were just bantering him that he had one of the poorest WAEC results when he finished from secondary school. I said it's not possible. They said this is very possible. I said it's not possible that this boy that is stopping international and national competitions. How will you tell me finish with a very bad grade in WAEC? When I saw that result, come and see F9. I saw F9 from subject 1 to I think this highest grade aside from that F9 was D7. So, and then I don't look at that shift of being a failure at WAEC to being a top. If we are to gather people in my set at that time, I mentioned top students in my class at that time, he was going to make the list.
Wow.
So there was a shift from being a failure to becoming a first class, and not even a first class graduate alone, but an A student. Currently is interning in one of the top most oil and gas companies in Nigeria and West Africa.
Wow.
He's doing so
Wow.
well,
Wow.
right? So I think one of the things you have to do is, first of all, address your mind. First class is
It's
possible.
possible.
It is
Yeah.
not. It is not impossible, right? So is it hard? I won't say it is hard, because when you start saying it is hard, it makes people lose interest in pursuing it. But one thing is, like every other courses, and I don't mean, when I mean courses, I don't mean discipline now. Like every other things you want to do,
Yeah.
just the way you put attention into it is also the way you put attention into first class.
Yeah.
I tell people that first class does not jump on you.
Yeah.
You work for it.
You work for it.
Right, and that is what differentiates people with a first class and people not with a first class.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking about the people with 2-1. Those 2-1 people, that people used to say that those 2-1 people are people that can actually really admit first class, but they didn't make it.
but they
Yeah,
didn't make
those 2-1 people are actually people that can really make first class, because by the time you are seeing what they used to miss first class, is always like 0.12, 0.13, 0.14. So it's not like it is not possible.
Yeah.
Right. So is it hard? First, is hard work. That's what I'm going to say.
True. True.
Is hard work.
In fact, do you know one thing? One thing is that I just feel like I remember my own personal story. Like when I was much younger, one of the things my dad would always make, especially me and my younger ones, like I don't know. I was just thinking about it as we were talking. The kind of conversations that, because my dad, he didn't really go to school like that. I mean, what we will call SS2, SS3 today, that was where it stopped. They call it maybe, I don't know, maybe
grade 4,
maybe
something
grade 4, something like that in the past.
4.
So he stopped at that. But when you see my dad, you will think that he went to one of the best schools in the world. His approach to life, his approach to things, the way he dresses, his manner of conversations, is how outspoken he was. So when I met him, like when I started growing up and I started seeing those qualities about my dad, so I feel like that was one of the things. I mean, when I was in primary school, I think if I was not, I can't really remember all through now, but I know that was one of the top top students in the school.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, situation happens, life happens, and my intelligent quotient begin to drop down. Like so, and at the point when those things, so eventually I lost my dad, and many things begin to happen at that level. So when I grew up into my teenage and entering into my 20s, I found out that there were so many places I couldn't stand. And we're still talking about, because even though this is a conversation around first class, but I think that it also has to do with so many, it cut across people's life, becoming successful in anything. For example, so one of the things I started doing when I noticed that I could not stand some of my mates when they are having conversation, I had to start developing myself.
Yeah.
It was hard, but one of the mindset I had was that I had a possibility mindset. I had a mindset that this could work.
Yeah, that possibility mindset is very important.
It got to a point that I noticed as I begin to train myself, as I begin to read books, I begin to take studies seriously, I noticed something. There was a shift in my conversations with people. People want me to hop on a project. People want me to do this. People want me to do that. So I found, even though those things were not, they seems impossible because we call them elites. I won't lie. I really want to be an elite. Like,
who doesn't want to be 1% of the 1%?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to get to a point where, like, I just want to be part of the people that when they are being addressed, you can see that this guy is well read. This guy is intelligent quotient is up there. But I had to start. It was dragging. At the point, it was as if I was not seeing the progress. After maybe about 2-3 years, as you said, I started seeing the progress. My interaction with people. So now, going back to this conversation, there is something I want us to quickly look into. Like, let's say, is there a routine to becoming a first class student? Because I know that, actually, because sometimes people feel like there is always a roadmap to a thing, right?
Yeah.
If you're going from a place to a place, there is the need for like a roadmap. Now, is there a sort of like a routine that not necessarily you, or let's say a general routine, or like what can people, let's put it that way. Is there a general routine that people can follow through to make them get to that point?
I wouldn't say there is a specific routine. I wouldn't say in the morning wake up, carry your book and read. In the afternoon wake up, carry your book and read. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. But let me tell you something. One thing about success is that you can't live your life without structure and expect any results.
Structure.
Right. Now you will see people who are successful today.
Yeah.
You even for them, what they are going to do over the weekend, they already had it planned by Monday. Right? So there is a routine. Like there's a routine to success, but there's no specific routine to success. But there must be a routine to success. There must be a structure to success. You can't be there and you can't be neither here or there and expect a result. I wake up in the morning, do my prayers, do the necessary stuff, head on into it. On days I'm not good. I have those kind of plans. On days I don't go to school. For example, I don't have the class that day. So I know that when I wake up today, those days I can just give myself a shit code of waking up later than I used to wake up. Then wake up that day, maybe cook, disturb a little bit of my flatmate and just play with them just to ease myself. And then I just enter my room and I tell myself, Nifemi, you're reading for 6 hours today. And then I sit down and I start reading. Now, sometimes the 6 hours might not be stretched. Sometimes the 6 hours might be stretched. But the goal must be, I must read for 6 hours that day. But you can compare me to somebody who just wake up and say, today is a good day. We leave it as it comes. You won't really achieve any results like that. So is there a specific routine to success? I don't think so. But should there be routine and structures to your life to achieve a goal and first class? Yes, there should be.
Thank you very much. Actually, I think this conversation is getting more interesting because I'm beginning to, I just feel like it's cutting across different things and many things. I want to ask a question.
Okay.
But basically, it's true, very true. I was able to achieve one of my goals this year. I planned that I was going to get a certification, right, in a particular area that I am so interested in. It's been hard. Like I already tried, I already looked at it together, but I told myself, how can I get this done? This thing is not hard. This course is just how many hours? Let's say maybe it costed me about 20 something hours to take. And I know that I can't sit down 10 hours stretch.
Of course.
It's not part of me.
Yeah.
In fact, recently I saw a video of one of these great business guy. Said, if you want to learn a skill, sit down for 10 hours. I said, I don't have that luxury to sit down for.
It's not possible. Many people don't have that time.
I don't have that luxury. I have a 9-to-5 job. I have this, I have that. I have this I have to take care of. I have church work I needed to attend to.
Ministry is because while I was actively pursuing my first class, ministry was also there.
In fact, we're going to get to that.
So
we're going to get to that. So
going on.
Now, looking at this, I decided that, okay, let me do a structure. I broke it. How many hours of this? How many hours can I commit into this every day? I said I'm going to do this for 1 hour. Yes, just this yesterday, I completed the course. And just
if it's a 20 hours course, that means you just need 1 hour in 20 days.
20 days.
And you're done.
And I'm done. And it was quite simple. Same thing with a book. I got a book. I wanted to read a book. The book was as high as anything. I said, okay, how do I need to do? I'm a kind of person. I said, okay, at the beginning of this year, I would normally read for maybe for an hour, 30 minutes before. But I said I want to increase my reading time. I said I was going to be reading for 2 hours every day. I've been doing it consistently. Oh my God. And I've been seeing tremendous results. But you know, one thing I've also noticed is that I decided that I'm going to start reading as the fact that I just want to chip in this, right? Is that adding a specific time to can also help.
Yeah, it can.
Because I discovered that the moment I said I was going to start reading by 3 p.m. every day, I read 3 p.m. every day. My alarm rings when it's 3 p.m. Anything I'm doing at that time is suspended. So even sometimes I'm still even at work, but normally the kind of work I do, like
would allow
by 3 p.m. I can have that luxury to read, and I just do that for 2 hours. Sometimes it's hard. I just stay there. I said this one. So, but I think it's a very true thing that routine is very powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful.
To people who really, really want to do it academically, especially for students. Now let's look at this. You mentioned something for me. It was scary for me. I won't lie. Maybe not because I'm lazy, but I feel like when you said you want to read for 6 hours, you already said that there's not necessarily a specific time to read. But I strongly believe that if you're going to be able to also cover ground, you need to be able to also do some extensive hours. Now, let's talk about building a reading habit.
Okay.
Now, how can, let's say for me as a student, let's say you see me, I'm 100 levels today. I'm just coming in. I'm coming from another world that is different from this world. How can I develop a reading habit such that even if I'm so lazy before, I can get to a place where I'm now somebody who gets to read. How can I do that?
I think the first thing is the importance of, you have to address what is important.
Yeah.
Now, I used to tell myself that, why do I want to do this? Now, many people, there's a lot of talks outside there today that read books, read financial books. You know, pastor would often encourage us that you want to get married as a single lady, as a single guy. You've not read any book on childbirth. You've not read any book on marriage. You've not read any book on this and that. Yeah. You know, there's so much emphasis on reading, right? You might see it as jamboree if you have not still come to the understanding of why you need to read. Right? Now, one thing I would tell is a university student or a student around general, even students that are taking professional, even people that are taking professional course, because for me too, I started taking a professional course like 3 days ago, which I registered and paid for myself and all of that.
Yeah.
And the first thing I told myself is, why do I have to do this?
You have to do this.
And I told myself that I'm having interest in a particular area of law that I have no idea about. So if I would want to tell people that, oh, I'm this, I love this, and then I just thought about it, that what if somebody asks you that, oh, you want this aspect of law, tell me about it. I have no understanding about it. So something else clicked in my head, and even if it is the fundamental of this particular thing, learn it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first thing is understand the importance of why you need to read.
The importance.
Just understand the importance of why you need to read. I need to read so that I will not fail.
Sure.
I need to read so that I will not be confused in the exam hall. I need to read so that I will be able to know.
Yeah.
That is, address your why.
Yeah.
Then how do you begin reading habits? First of all, reading can be very hard. I love reading.
Yeah.
No, did I say I love reading? I read not because I love reading. I read because it is important to read.
Very true.
I've had situations. I'm not a macho. I've had situations where I wake up and, you know, there was one funny incident that happened in school. Maybe I've told you before. I think I've read through this. Was some period, law exams can be very rigorous, can be very, very rigorous. You see people go through 3 days, 4 days without sleeping. Can be very, very quite rigorous. Yes, can be very quite rigorous, right? Even the average student in law, we still read very well not to fail. Do you get? So it is not a matter of I don't want to read.
I don't want to read.
So reading can be very difficult. I remember one time that, and it is not all the time that I read that I know that, yes, I've gotten this. There are days I read and I pick up the material and I can't even remember what I read again. Do you get? Right? So first thing first it wasn't like this. I remember one incident in school where I think I had slept, I had read through the day, and then I had some exam 2 or 3 days after that day. And then I slept and I told my class rep, who happens to be my friend, that please, I want to sleep. Wake me up in the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so she woke me up. And people know me that people that read around me during exam period knows that if I tell you wake me up 2 hours from now, I don't want to hear I forget. You must wake me up. Right?
Yeah.
If I tell you wake me up 2 hours from now, I need you to wake me up. And sometimes I tell you that, please, I tell people that read around me that, please, I want to sleep. Nobody in this place should wake me up.
Yeah.
Nobody. Because I really want to sleep, right? So I slept that day, and then she woke me up. If it's time to read, and I burst into tears. No, so I'm not talking about 400 level. I'm talking about 500 level. And I burst into premium tears, and I'm like, okay, who sent me to study law? I just started crying. The girl just looked at me. You know what? You go back to sleep. And I went back to sleep, and I slept all through that night without reading. And I told myself the next morning I'm going to wake up and start reading. Even when I woke up, the first 2 hours I was still pressing my phone just to ease myself, and then later on I start to read. Now, reading is not something that you will do and you enjoy. It's a different thing if I'm reading a novel. It's appealing to my emotions. Everything is sweet and I'm imagining things. But you are reading, for example, I'm speaking specifically now to students reading to pass exams, reading for courses. It's not sweet, oh. It's not fun. It's not. Let's get to that. Don't think that you open your book now and you start falling in love with it. No. But I think one thing that will keep you going is your understanding that I want to pass.
Sure.
Then another thing is, it doesn't start one day. You don't have to say, I want to start reading today and do 6 hours.
Yeah.
You can do, let's read 2 hours today. There are times I'll tell myself I want to read for 24 hours. And it's not like I'll have to wake up from 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. the next morning. It's not possible. I'm not a machine. So what I do is that I read for like maybe 3 hours uninterrupted. Then I pick my phone, watch some YouTube reels, laugh for like 30 minutes. Then I pick my phone, I pick my book again to read for another 3 hours. When I see that maybe my legs are aching, my bodies are aching, I just stand up to go and maybe talk to a friend, laugh to a friend, discuss with a friend.
Yeah.
you know, jab a friend, walk around, then I come back again. I might not even read immediately again. I
Yeah.
press my phone for like another 15, 20 minutes, then
Mm.
pick up my book to read another 4 hours,
Mm.
right? Do you
Yeah.
get?
Yeah.
So I think another thing is when you are reading, know yourself, know who you are. There are some people that tell you I can't read more than 2 hours at a stretch. Don't force it.
Yeah.
Do it. And another thing is also that if you want to start building a reading habit, you cannot be comfortable. So it's not a matter of I will do it when I'm tired. See, just the way you are when just the way the well diggers dig well, and they don't stop, they dig well and they don't do bang bang and then they leave it and then go again.
Yeah.
They keep digging. When they're tired, you see all those people that dig, where they'll come up,
Yeah,
they will
sure.
sit, they will laugh, they will drink whatever they drink or whatever they eat, and then they will go back there to continue digging, then they come back. Do you get what I'm saying now? So
Yeah.
reading habits is something that nobody comes. No, I wasn't born with ability to read for 6 hours. Oh, I developed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I developed it from secondary school because I went to a boarding house, and that boarding house there was nothing to do. Although it was one Giron boarding house, pardon me for the use of language,
Yeah.
but there was not so much thing to do. So after the seniors have punished us, I wasn't doing house chores, I wasn't sweeping, I wasn't cleaning. The only thing I need to do for myself was to probably wash my clothing. That's all. So I now realized that okay, we go to class 8 a.m. to like 2 p.m. On days we don't have lessons. From that 2 p.m. till the next, I went to a college, so maybe till like 7, you don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
Then there was prep class.
Hmm.
For a boarding school student, there was a prep class.
Yeah.
Our prep class is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. rather to 9 o'clock. So now, and I told myself that, so they're going to lock on my hostels. I will now come for prep. I will now play. It's not possible now. Let me read. So that was where, so when I started reading 9, 7 to 9, I realized that after like a term, stopping at 9 now became difficult for me. And I started reading to 10.
Yeah.
Then I realized that as at SS, I was already leading to 11. That at that point, the night watch, the night guard in my school already knew me. So when they see somebody in the night working with torchlight in the school compound, they already know it's me. So sometimes I get to the class, I get to my hostel back around 11,
Yeah.
although I had to stop because of security reasons and all of that. So that was where the culture came up. So as at 300 level, as at junior school, my dad is always fighting that I don't read, and it's very true. My textbook is as always new as at the end of every
the way it was good.
nah.
Yeah.
But you know, so how do you be the reading? First of all, tell yourself that it's possible. Second, know what works for you. And number 3, it is not comfortable, but you have to build comfort from it. So at that time, so I began to read so much that my classmates now felt like, how do you read this much? And I told them that at first it was difficult, but after I gave myself over to it, it became easy. So don't expect it to be easy at first.
At first, yeah.
But once you continue in it, you get better and it becomes something you enjoy.
Amazing. Guys, I feel like this podcast is getting more interesting and there is so much to unpack from this particular episode. But we're going to be doing a part 2 of it. If you want us to drop the part 2, write part 2 in the comment section